Hi everybody, it's Crazy BG here with another video for you. I'm currently got about 3 layers on as it's been quite cold today and rainy, and apparently it's going to be for the rest of the week. Not a good start to the summer. So I just wanted to do a video for you. It's a bit more of an informative video as well, just for those who are thinking about coming over and maybe moving here, to let you know about some of the more nasty things, not about Bulgaria, but that you might find in and around the house. Um, Now, I am the worst person when it comes to being squeamish about insects and bugs and things like that, but you just have to kind of get on with it when you move here, and you get used to these things, and overall it's nothing to worry about. But I wanted to put you in the picture and let you know some of the things that you might find in and around the house, so as not to shock you, so when you do see them you kind of know what they are, before you kind of fall back and have a heart attack and you're not used to seeing them. um, so here we go. Let's start with the first one. So the first one that you might find is this little fellow. Now, the first time I see this wasn't actually here, it was at a friend's house in the middle of the night, and they I looked at it and thought, what on earth is it? It looks like a mutated spider, um, and it moved, and these things move at like ridiculous speeds. And it's a house, what you call a house centipede. So it has in total 30 legs, and they do move very, very quickly. Now, you might look at it and think, oh my God, that is like one of the worst things I've ever seen. They do vary in different sizes, but on the positive note, I'm going to tell you that they are way, 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 way more scared of us than what we are of them. They do not like being seen. They are nocturnal. So if you do happen to see a house centipede, it's going to be far more likely at night than what it is in the daytime. However, if you have a house centipede, some people are like, I want rid of it. Other people just kind of tend to leave themselves to themselves, because these are very, very good for your house. They get rid of things like silverfish, they get rid of beetles, spiders, other general creepy crawlies. Best not to get anywhere near it, pick it up with your hands, because they do bite, and they do have a venom in them, but the venom isn't really harmful to humans, nor cats or dogs. It's more just like a bee sting more than anything else. The chances that you're going to be able to catch it is going to be rare as well, because honestly, I keep saying, but they move at some speed. So if you see them, just kind of, leave them to whatever it is that they're doing, because they'll scuttle off into some dark corner or some crack somewhere, because they don't really like to be seen. Um, if you find that you see a lot of them, though, be aware that it could be that you've got an infestation of something else. So it could be cockroaches, silverfish, something like that. So make sure that you're doing like your day cleanliness, keeping the place as clean as much as you possibly can. And because the more that you get the likes of these pests, the more of these that you're going to see. So there you go, guys. That was the house centipede, and they are native to Europe, and they're native to America as well. So it doesn't matter really where you're going to be in Europe. The chances are you're going to come across somewhat one of them in your life at some point. So there you go, house centipede. Okay, the next one, I need to tell you, I have a morbid fear of these, probably even more of a morbid fear than house centipede, and that is your common house spider. So house spiders are just as native to Bulgaria as probably the rest of the world. They come in all various shapes and forms and sizes. However, the more ones that I'm likely to see have got these really tiny bodies and long spindly legs, and they make webs literally everywhere very, very quickly. So in order, if you don't want spiders to be in the house, again, it's really important that you maintain cleanliness, that you vacuum on a regular basis. Around, not just around, your floor and things, but like above me, I've got wooden beams. The spiders love making webs there. So places like that, you need to make sure that you keep on top of it, because cobwebs do form very, very quickly. And again, it means that the spiders are hanging out, and it's going to attract more house centipedes as well. So I haven't really seen a lot of the big spiders. I have seen them outside, but not as much inside. Fortunately, it's good to say that the spiders here aren't venomous and they don't bite. But again, it's just a case of don't get too near to them. Just leave them to their own thing. If you see one on the web outside, just let it do what it needs to do. It'll not bother you. And if you do see them in and around the house, and you don't mind them, they are good at keeping the flies out, which is another major pest here in Bulgaria, is flies, which you can't do anything about. It's the same as the rest of the world. So there you go, guys. Hopefully that was a little bit there about the spiders, just to help you out. Nothing really that much to worry about. Bees and wasps. So bees, you'll normally will come out as soon as spring is here. Once the trees have started blossoming, as soon as the fruit trees, especially, they've got blossom, the bees are there. They'll start pollination straight away, and the likelihood is you'll hear them. You'll hear the busyness of the buzzing, of them moving around and doing what they need to do. And the thing being is they're not interested in you at all. Um, so just let them do what they need to do. Occasionally what might happen is if you've got doors open or something, a stray bee might come in. It happens here on a regular basis, in which case we've just got a jar which will catch them in and let them out. And you'll know that it's a honeybee straight away, because they tend to be like a darker shade of brown. They're larger than a wasp, and they're frantically finding a window in which they're trying to get out. They're kind of like, whoa, how did I get in here? It shouldn't be here. Um, but at the same time, towards the back end of the year, this is around grape season. So this is when the grapes are ready to come off, or they've come off. And the Bulgarians will, in the markets, they'll be actively selling the grapes to the people who want to make wine. Now, when these grapes come off, alongside that, there's nothing you can do about it, but wasps tend to hang around, because wasps love fruit. I don't know if you know this, but wasps are actual pollinators alongside bees. The difference is that unlike the beehive, what happens is towards autumn is that the queen of the hive kicks all the wasps out, because she makes room for a new colony. Now, because she kicks the wasps out, the wasps are left starving, so they'll be going along trying to find whatever rotten fruit that they can so that they can feed off it. Now, wasps will be problematic and they may be a pest. My biggest advice to you is this. I never in the UK ever was stung once, and I've lived here now for 2 years, and each year I've been stung more than once. And most of the time that I've been stung, it's either been in the car or when I put on an item of clothing. So be aware that if you put clothing on the floor when you go to bed, if you've had a wasp get in there and you don't know that it's got into the house, it's going to look for somewhere nice and warm that it can kind of go into and, just like kind of chill out for a bit. So as a word of advice, when you pick up a piece of clothing off the floor and you intend on putting it back on, give it a shake first. And because you never know if there might be like a nasty wasp in there which is waiting. Happened to me just about 2 weeks ago. I went to put on a dressing gown off the floor, put my hand in, and a wasp got me on the finger. The second place as well, where to warn you, is the car. So Bulgaria in the summer gets very, very hot. So if you leave the windows open, it's more than likely that a wasp is going to get in, or a bee, and the likelihood is that you're going to get in the car and sit there without checking the seat, and it's going to be on the back of the seat, and that's happened to me twice. And then you'll sit back and you'll be driving away and it'll get you in the back. And honest to God, when it gets you, if you've never been stung, it's enough of the shock for you to nearly crash the car. So always, as a piece of advice, always just check the car, especially the seats. Make sure there's no wasp or bees or anything crawling around it. And because honest to God, uh, if you sit back on one, you'll sharp know about it. It'll let you know. And yeah, that's happened to me twice now, and lesson firmly learned. So yeah, there's bees and wasps, guys. That's your next pest. Okay, your next one is imagine you're out in the garden one evening, it's a lovely summer evening, and you can hear the crickets singing, and all is well with the world, and then suddenly out of the corner of your eye, you've just happened to see something slither away. The likelihood is that it was a snake, and yes, snakes are in Bulgaria. Um, they are, all around. There's no getting away from them. They are just part of nature here. Fortunately, there is only two venomous snakes. There is the adder, which is the same as the UK adder, and there is another one called the horn-nosed viper. The horn-nosed viper, you'll know if it's a horn-nosed viper because it has a horn on the end of its nose. You'll recognize because they are related, so you'll recognize from the diamond-shaped back. However, you won't really see these in and around like where you live. Horn-nosed vipers and adders tend to keep well out of the way of people, and they are way more scared of people than what people are scared of them. So the likelihood is that they are not going to come anywhere near you. So should you see one, just steer well back. Don't have any contact with it, and just let it do whatever it is that it's doing. Um, if you do happen to be bit, you need to identify which one it was, whether it was an adder or horn-nosed viper, one of the two, and seek medical advice. And basically, the medical centres should have an anti-venom to help you out. The adder, they say, when I was reading up, is that the venom is quite mild. And the likelihood is it's more a bit like a bee sting, but the horn-nosed viper is more potent. It can cause things like fevers and seizures, and in some cases even death. So I'm not meaning to scare you guys, but it's just something that you need to be aware of. Most of the time, there are the snakes that you'll see are things like a smooth snake, which is in the picture that I'm showing. These are completely, they're not harmful at all. They're very docile, but at the same time they're very quick. So if they see you, the likelihood is that they're going to move quite quickly. I've only seen two snakes in the garden since moving here. One of them was a small snake, and it kind of just moved around. It did its thing in the rain, and I'm like, you're not doing anybody any harm. Just do whatever it is that you're doing. And the other one, I'm not sure. It was like a speckled snake, and it was slithering around the cut down bark of a tree. So I'm not sure where it was. But one thing I will tell you is that the Bulgarians hate snakes. They can't stand them. So the likelihood is that if there's a snake in the proximity, Bulgarians will get rid of them by they'll. I've seen them hit them with spades, shovels. Um, but bearing in mind that, please be aware that before thinking of killing the snake, they are a protected species here. So if you do get caught killing one, the likelihood is you're going to be prosecuted. So just leave them alone. It's fine. Just let them do their own thing, and no harm's going to come to you at all. So there you go, snakes. And then after this one, we've got one more, and then I think that's enough of giving you guys the heebie-jeebies. So the last one is which are native all again around the world is the common mouse. Also I'm going to say rats as well, but more mice than rats. Um, you'll probably find that if you're going to get a mouse infestation, it's going to be around colder times of the year. So my advice would be is to make sure that all the cracks in the walls, or no matter how small, are covered over with a decent cement or wherever it is that you're going to use to cover them up with. Um, because when they get in, they can quickly turn to an infestation. They love places like the back of your freezer or the back of your fridge, which they'll use the grate to climb up because it's nice and warm there for them. So they'll quite happily nest there. But at the same time, what they'll do is they will literally eat into the back of it. Our last freezer, we had a mouse infestation here, and they literally were eaten into the foam, and eventually the freezer just broke. They also, if they get into your kitchen, they'll cause havoc because they love greens and pulses and things like that. So as a word of caution, anyway, what you should do is when buying foods for the kitchen, anything particular that's bagged, is to put it in a glass container and store them in a glass container where the mice can't get to them. As soon as you realize that you've got a mouse problem, you need to try and eradicate it because they can quickly, very, very quickly overtake the place. So what some people do is they'll have a cat, which obviously helps to keep the population down. So cats are very, very easy to get hold of here because you get, endless litters every single year from strays. So you can quite happily get yourself a cat if you want to, which will help to keep the population down. There is different traps available. If you've got a mouse, you can buy the sticky traps and put them in the cupboards. They're very, very effective. I've used them myself. You can also get the spring-loaded traps as well. So there's those available as well. Exactly the same advice if it's a rat. You'll notice, by the droppings that are being left, you need to try and eradicate the problem as quickly as you possibly can. Fortunately, I have dogs, and we had a rat problem where it was just one, but the dogs caught it and killed it like instantly, and the problem was gone. But nevertheless, just be aware that things like mice and rats are going to come to your house, especially if you live in solitary areas. So if you live in an area where there's not like houses around you, then the likelihood is you are going to get mice or rats who are going to try and get into the house, because it's warm, there's free food there available for them. So you need to make sure that you keep your house like up to speed on your DIY and protection from those things that can go outside. So that's basically it. So I hope that didn't kind of like get your goosebumps going over, like, yeah, making you feel a bit squirmish, or I didn't mean to do anything like that. But I just thought it was good to give you this advice, and to help you so that you're not like me, that you came to the house and like looking at something and thinking, oh my God, what the hell is that? That you're aware that these are some of the common things that you're going to see in and around the house, especially a house that you're renovating yourself. So that's everything from me. Thank you so much for watching the video. I hope that you found it informative. If you did, please consider subscribing to the channel and giving the video a like. Also, thank you so much for the people who have been leaving comments. I really appreciate it. Please continue to leave the comments or ask questions if you want. And I'll look forward to seeing you on the next video. So until next time, guys, that's everything from me. Until next time, bye-bye.